a YouGov poll commissioned by Text Off reveals that the vast majority of parents aren't fully confident that they've set adequate controls on their children's devices. So joining me now in the studio is Miranda Wilson, a former Google employee and now founder of Text Off. What is Text Off, Miranda?
So it's basically an information site which has gathered together all the negative information around what's going on with our children and technology, and has also started to provide some of the solutions. So the solutions are short-form video showing parents how to, very clear, simple, short videos that show parents how to start putting in controls on their children's iPhones, Android phones, iPads, etc.
Brilliant. Because it is the bane of every parent, and actually a lot of grandparents' lives as well, when they're looking after the children. It feels like tech just suddenly kind of sprung upon us in the most unregulated and life-changing way. And we parents are always a few steps behind, aren't we? Is that what you hear from parents?
Yes, absolutely. I have very similar conversations with friends who are parents who talk about losing control, talk about their children being addicted. And this is what, and I saw what was going on with my kids, who thankfully aren't they're not extreme in their behaviour around tech, but I've seen changes. So what led me to set up this organisation was, looking around me, seeing what was going on with kids. I started looking at, it was around the time of, we were talking about rape culture in schools. Rape culture in schools. I mean, really? Yeah. And then I was reading about the effect on, children's academic performance, their mental health, their physical health. I was also looking at what Silicon Valley parents are doing, which is clearly very different in terms of them just not even allowing their kids anywhere near tech. So the people who are creating these tools aren't letting their own children go on them.
Just reiterate that again, Miranda, for our listeners and our viewers, what you just said then.
So so parents who live and work in Silicon Valley, so where a lot of the tech giants are based, are sending their children to Steiner schools, and they are not letting their children anywhere near tech. So even to the point of getting their nannies to sign agreements to say, I will not, allow your child to even see a screen while I'm looking after them.
Why are they doing that?
I think they know how addictive they are. I think they know how they can affect a child's concentration span. I think they probably know how difficult it is. Even if the parents are incredibly savvy, I think they probably understand once their children get to a certain age that they can get around the controls. I mean, this is a huge part of the problem. If all these parents, are confused about setting controls, and a large proportion also haven't even set any controls. I think it was 11%. That's a lot of kids out there who are seeing all the wrong things and having far too much time potentially online.
Whose responsibility is it, do you think? Is it the phone manufacturer? Is it the search engines? Is it the parent? I
think we all need to take responsibility here. The phone manufacturers haven't. I mean, I'd love to see a world where a health warning is slapped on a phone. So you open the box and it says, is this phone for a child? You better know about all these things, and maybe here's a source of information to help you there. And then that isn't happening. Obviously, legislation moves very slowly. So I think the only thing that we can do right now is for parents to really get more savvy around controls, but also be incredibly vigilant, because you can set controls, and kids are sneaky, they will get around them, especially older kids. So then that's where vigilance comes in, and obviously conversations. And I'd also, I don't know about you, but I wish I hadn't bought my kids phones until they were 16,
I tried that with my eldest, and I gave him a Nokia brick when he first started at high school, and then I went on the journey to school with him a couple of times because it was a couple of train journeys, and I sat there embarrassing him but a few seats away, and I watched. All the children had smartphones and he couldn't play with them, and they were playing games and they were comparing videos and looking at stuff, and I just looked and I thought, he is isolated from the cohort because he hasn't got a smartphone.
Yeah.
And then eventually I had to give him one.
Yeah.
Do I regret it? Possibly. My second two have extremely detailed apps. They have Custodio on their phone. Me and my partner can monitor it. We can switch it on, we can switch it off. We can see exactly what they've Googled. And it means that when you're saying to your child, you've got to put that phone down, you're not actually fighting to get it out of their hand. You have the power in your phone just to click it off. Yeah. Is that the kind of thing on your website that you're recommending?
So what we're recommending at the moment, because we've just launched, is in-device controls. And then the next stage is to start reviewing all these third-party the likes of Custodio and seeing which ones actually work, because I did start doing some research into that, and unfortunately there is a wealth of information out there for kids who want to get around also the likes of Custodio and Net Nannies. So, you know, they're on YouTube. I've looked at them. You know, there's kids making videos for other kids about how you get
how you can circumvent the security. I had a conversation with my 19-year-old though the other day, who, when I was despairing at my daughter, and he said, "Mum, you've just got to let her self-regulate. You've got to stop it. You're taking it away from her, and she's not learning to self-regulate." Does he have a point?
I don't know that it's fair to expect children to self-regulate when these devices are intended to be, you know, addictive. That's how they've been designed, or rather the platforms, you know. But actually just the screen itself is dopamine triggering, which is why, you know, young children are also so susceptible to them. So, yeah, self-regulation, I don't know. Maybe with some children it works, maybe with others it doesn't. You know, it depends on the nature of the child, the nature of their home environment, you know, what else they've got going on. You know, are they allowed in their bedroom for hours on end, or are they out playing sport? You know?
But there is no doubt that it is the bane of most parents. What was the statistic in your survey, the parents who find it problematic? It's about 80%, wasn't it?
80% are worried that their children are addicted. Yeah. And I think around 80% think that it interferes with family life.
OK.